Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias. I mentioned a little while ago that I had picked up this cinnamon BoneStag single blade Barlow by Ryder, or more accurately, the Ryder Classic Cinnamon BoneStag carbon steel blades. Talk about a very long name for a series, but in any case, everyone just calls it the Cinnamon BoneStag, and this is actually the second release of this. The first release had the big R and an acorn shield. This one, plain bolster, no shield whatsoever, and this also has a single blade. Now, one of the complaints that a lot of people seem to have about the Cinnamon BoneStag is the durability of the colors on the knife. And so what I'm going to do before I actually go into more detail on the knife is I'm going to actually take this time and scrub the handle using hot soapy water, actually using a dishwashing liquid with bleach in it and a toothbrush, and I'm going to scrub it as best I can and see what it looks like after doing that. I will scrub it for about a minute on each side, but I wanted to show close-ups of what it looks like beforehand. So as you can see it here, let's get it in focus. So there we have what it looks like beforehand. What I will also do is take a couple pictures of before and also a couple pictures after. So hold tight, and we'll see what it looks like after the cleaning. Okay, I haven't cleaned it all off yet, but as you can see, the toothbrush is definitely dirty. My hands is definitely dirty. I have been just scrubbing with the grain and a little bit around and around and around on both sides. And I have been pushing really deep into it to see what I can get out. And as you can tell, the toothbrush has definitely gotten quite dirty. How much has actually come off? Well, I'll be right back and we'll see what it looks like once I get the whole thing rinsed and dried. Okay, we've got it back, it's dried off, it's cleaned up, and here we have it now. And I gotta tell you, I do think that there is a noticeable difference between now and before. Is it necessarily bad or better? That is up to the individual to decide. Is it a significant difference? That too is up to the individual to decide. But you can see that it has lightened in some areas, and some areas of the bone are definitely wider than they used to be. Now, when someone was complaining about this on the SMKW Army Facebook page, Brian Wilhoit did say that, well, yeah, the bone is actually burnt. That's the way they make it. It is actually individual pieces of bone that have been dyed, and they also burn it. And that's why burnt stag or burnt bone stag has the black in it, is because it is actually burnt. You know, they actually hold a torch up to it and they burn it. And so, yeah, it will come off if, you try and wash it off. And that, I think, is what we're seeing here, is that the burning of the stag bone or bone stag does come off, but it still leaves plenty of black in there. That might actually be dyed also. That part looks kind of like it had been also dyed and then also burned. So that's what I'm thinking has happened. You've got like the black bone or black bone stag, and then it's also been burnt and everything else. So that's why you have the color variations in it, and that's why it will lighten up if you're carrying it or if you're cleaning it and such like that. Again, Some people make that as a big deal. It's a major problem with them. For me, I kind of like it better now that it is cleaned and I know that my hand is not going to get all black from rubbing against it or anything like that. So for me, I will probably clean them if I get any more of the cinnamon BoneStag. With that said, let's take a look at the rest of the knife and do a full review on actually how well the knife works. Now, before I go into the knife, I want to talk a little bit about the box, because the box does look really nice. Nice front here, nice back. I actually kind of like the back, and you'll see that when I take photos of the knives, I use the knife or the box as backdrop for the knives because I think it looks really good. So really good for photos and things of that nature. However, they do take up a lot of room. So great for presentation, great for when you're giving it as a gift. Not so great when it comes to storage. The boxes take up a lot of room. And so what I plan on doing with my boxes from Rough Ryder, the ones that are like this, simply because so many of them are about the exact same size, is I'm going to use these boxes. I'm going to keep one box from each series that I have. But if I have more than one box from a series, what I plan on doing is I'm going to open up the box, cut off the top, and use the top of the box sort of like a brick in the wall. And I'm going to make kind of like a wall of Rough Ryder boxes, or any of the magnetic boxes, basically. I'm just going to cut those off and I'm going to put them and use them as a backdrop. So it'll be a nice little wall of these boxes. Obviously, this is not something you could probably get away with doing in your living room or your front room. But when you got basically a basement that has been turned into nothing but walls of knives, you can do that. And so that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm going to make a wall of these things kind of as a backdrop. That's my plan, at least. All right, with that said, let's get rid of this box and talk about the knife. Okay, so here we have the cinnamon BoneStag, and I like the way it looks. I actually like it better now than when I first got it. We also have here another BoneStag knife by Rough Ryder. This is the brown BoneStag. And I wanted to show this to you because if you look closely, you will see that the jigging pattern in the knives is almost identical. Can you see that? You see the little hole right there, and you got the little hole right there. Then that like claw looking thing there, and you got the claw looking thing there. The difference, I think, is the jigging is kind of wearing out on this one, and so it's a little bit different, but it is almost identical. And if we flip it over, once again, you see the jigging is nearly identical. This looks like it was done, maybe they've already gone through about 10,000 knives, so the jigging has been changed a little bit, but all in all, the pattern is about the same. And one of the things you can also notice when the light hits it just right, let's get that light hitting it. You see the, here we go. See how those lines run in the jigging? You can see them right up there and such. See those lines? The nice straight lines running through the inside of the jigging there. That is the way the laser is cutting the bone and everything. And it is even more prevalent in the newer BoneStag because it's probably going a little deeper or something. But you can definitely see the lines in the jigging there. And that annoys me a little bit. That is definitely the easiest way that you can tell that this is truly bone and not stag. But all in all, it does look really good. It's just when you start looking very closely, then you can see all those little details and such. This is what I was talking about with the big R before. The older cinnamon BoneStag has the big R, so the bolster would look more like that on it. And it also had a shield down here. This has the Federal shield. The other one had the Acorn shield that first appeared in the Moonshiner series. I almost bought some of the knives in the Cinnamon BoneStag, the first issue, but I just could not get over the big R, so that's why I did not buy it. So I was very happy to see this show up again without the big R. I would have loved to have still had the Acorn on there, but I would not like an Acorn shield on a Barlow. Shields do not belong on a Barlow. They should put the Acorn up here. I do like the pinch on the bolster. I wish this was a squared off top instead of a rounded top, but the pinch on there helps make it look a little more squared off. But the real feature on this is the fact that it is a single bladed Barlow, and does have a good half stop. The pull on this is not at all strong. You got a pull that is probably about a 4 or a 5. But it goes right into that half stop and it works really well. Then it pops all the way open. Hard to close, I would say not. I would give the close also around maybe as light as a 3 or a 4. You do see that it has the black liners there, which hides any kind of mistakes in the gapping between the bone and the brass liners there, which is okay by me. It looks really good. There are no gapping issues between the back of the, well, there's no gapping issues between the back spring and the brass liners. So that all looks really good too. All around, it just looks really good. So I'm very happy with the fit and finish on it. I wish the pull was a little harder, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to be happy with that. Very light pull. It will not affect the functionality of the knife. There is absolutely no wobble in the blade. You do have this action happening. I think some of this is an issue of all that soapy water being in there, so I really do need to oil it again. But you can get your finger up there and hold it in place if you need to. What I would have loved to have seen would have been a nice straight pull up here, which would have made the swedge look a little bit better. Also, this one still has the match strike pull. I do know that Rough Ryder is moving away from the match strike pull, but we probably have another year or two to wait before we no longer see a match strike pull. For some people, that's a big problem. I have no issues with the match strike pull. I like either kind of pull. So that's not a complaint for me. Big R, that was a complaint. Not as crazy about the swedge up here. I don't think you really need it, but it is nicely done. Looks like it's about even on both sides. Blade has your typical, well, no, this does not have your typical 440A razor sharp, because this is carbon steel. The steel that Rough Ryder uses in their carbon steel is a T10 carbon, which is a Chinese steel that is similar to 1095 carbon. So that's what you have going on with the knife. All in all, really well made, looks really good. I'll cover the stats in the slideshow, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. And now that I have this one is probably not long for the collection. I'll probably keep this one instead because, well, big R. So and I do like this. It cleaned up nice. I do like it after I cleaned it up some. I know a lot of other people complain that it lost a lot of the color when they cleaned it or when they scrubbed it. But for me, it looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. With that said, I will let you go and stick around for the slides. let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with Tobias. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.